All right, thank you everybody for coming back. Last session we got into a lot of discussion about what sort of brought you guys here today, and I heard a lot of themes come up as far as trust and wanting to rebuild a relationship with each other, and I sort of just want to check in with you guys and see where you're at today.
Well, I can tell you right now, things did not go well over this past week. We left that first session and, I think we were all thinking it was going to be good because we talked about our problems and we were supposed to, get to know each other. And, my mom and I were going to sort of get to know each other after all these years. And Grandma
I tried to call you.
I know, just let me finish, all right? So, we tried maybe for the first few days to play the happy family, but, just by the end of the week before we got here, Grandma and I were at each other's throats, and it was the same old stuff about her not wanting me to spend time with my friends, and
what friends are we talking about?
The friends that you don't approve of, that you're
I don't think they're friends.
Sherry,
they are my friends.
I noticed, I wanted to stop you for a second. I noticed you said the beginning of the week started out okay, and by the end, did I catch that correctly?
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of the week, we kind of, because we just came out of our first session, you remember, we were so, oh, this is all going to work, we're going to be a family again, and there was, I don't know, everybody was sort of thinking everything was going to work out. But
what specifically was great about that first few days after we left Kingston?
Well, first, Mom came over and we all had dinner together, which we've never had, kind of just a family dinner, and it was some catching up. I hardly even know my mom, so she's asking me questions about.
Did you like my tacos?
Yeah, I found out Mom's a pretty good cook, and she's just, not getting on my case, but just asking me stuff about these years that we haven't gotten to know each other. So we're just kind of catching up, getting to know each other. Grandma seemed happy. So I think having dinner together was like kind of a good experience toward the beginning of the week.
So sort of engaging in some genuine family time together, with a meal, felt good for you.
It's better than prison food.
I don't know if that genuine word fit, because I feel like my daughter's like, we're just, sort of like a stranger, or I don't know. It's very complicated for me. It's like very mixed feelings, and but I agree. I think it was a good start.
So the beginning of the week was great for Sherry, but you are still feeling ambivalent about.
I feel it was a great start, but still I feel there's some not completely, probably not as good, as how I feel. I had a lot of mixed feelings.
What did you appreciate about the beginning of the week?
I think just my grandson said we all sat together. That's just very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we talked about this last week. You are judging Sherry as you judged me as I grew up. So in my mind, we have the same relationship. You're very judgmental and critical. And you've been that way ever since I've been a young person.
Are we talking about relationships, or are we talking about my parenting?
It's your attitude.
Well, Geraldine, I hadn't got to check in with you and how your week went.
Well, again, I agree with everybody. It started out really cool. A lot of good talk and getting to know each other, but it went south when we started talking about personal issues and behaviors, and I admit I'm a drug addict and whatever. I'm not a good person, but I'm trying. But I don't need to be judged by either of these two.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10 today, and 10 being you feel your greatest, and 1 being you're feeling your lowest, where are you at?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
4 and going down.
4 and going down. And when you were engaged with your family and enjoying that meal?
It was great. It was I'd say 7, 8, and going up.
I'm wondering about you, Sherry, like where are you at today? And
Gosh, I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe I kind of agree with my mom that a 4. It's not anything like it was a couple weeks ago when all this started, because at least we're kind of trying, but it definitely feels, like a letdown from earlier in the week. Maybe it was just unrealistic expectations or something, that it would be easier. So I'd put it at a 4 right now, as far as how we're all kind of getting along.
and Terry, how are you feeling right now?
I was, hoping that my daughter will get out of prison sooner, but all of a sudden, when the day finally came, I don't know how to handle it. And when we had dinner back then, I felt it was like maybe 4 or 5. Right now, I'm at stage about maybe 2.
So you're feeling pretty low right now about where your family's at?
Pretty much, especially after I was told I was judgmental, and so it was like, it seems like I need to redefine myself, because both from, the 2 people, very important people in my life. So
Geraldine, do you hear what Terry's saying? What you said to her immediately right now when you referred to her as being judgmental, that really impacted her, and how she's feeling in this very moment.
Well, I thought this room was supposed to be an honest room, that we could speak honestly. And I'm sorry if I upset you, Mom, but I see some of the same patterns here. I'm not blaming you for my addiction, but things were crappy, and I made the wrong decisions, and I didn't have anybody to support me. I didn't feel comfortable going with my mom, and so I just did kind of what came naturally and got in a lot of trouble. So I'm not blaming you, but I just feel that some of the similar vibes that I felt when I was growing up, that I'm observing with my daughter.
So you're concerned about Sherry developing similar patterns that you've experienced in the past?
Well, last week when we did leave, I think we had a kind of a rough goal to try harder and work together. I certainly don't want to go back to prison, and I'm living in this halfway house, being monitored all the time. I really have a lot of motivation to make it work.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I was really looking forward to, you get out there, but it just, things changed, and it's not easy to be a mom or to be a grandma when you raise your kid, your daughter's not there. And I don't know, I'm lost. And so when I heard the word, judgmental, I felt like I was trying really hard. I didn't mean I want you to lie or anything. It just made me think. When she was a teenager, she yelled at me a lot. You're so judgmental, and I heard from her, but it never hit me so hard until now.
I'm wondering what's impacting you right now.
Because I saw the change and I saw the possibilities, and so I'm scared to go back to what we had.
I think that's a really good point about being afraid of going back to things. And I know we talked about goals and, how everybody would like to move forward. And I'm assuming we want to be consistent with, having those days where we're 7 or an 8 and going up like at the beginning of the week. And you mentioned the need to feel supported, and you mentioned the need not to feel judged. And Sherry last session had mentioned the need to want things to go back the way they used to be. So we all have sort of different needs here, but I'm wondering what we can do to help each other fulfill the other's needs. So we can have more 8 days.
I think definitely more, mutual respect, and open communication. And I think this is a really nice environment. You can say how you feel without stepping on each other's toes, and that's what I'm looking for.
So you're looking for respect
Yeah, and the open communication. Yeah.
from each other. And everybody sort of reported that that's what they felt during the dinner when you guys were having dinner and the taco night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we didn't keep doing that. I don't know why we didn't have more dinners. I think, things seem to go a lot worse when we're not all spending time together. If I'm hanging out with mom outside the house, or just hanging out with grandma and we're talking about each other, and then when we come together, there's kind of a lot of sniping. So, I guess we could definitely come together for meals more often, and maybe at least once a day have one meal together. I think that maybe would help. And then, I don't know, just not be so focused on talking about the past and everything that went wrong. That's what's so frustrating for me. It's always about, how things were when grandma was raising my mom, and that, things are going to be the same with me. And it's always kind of living, in the past that nobody's happy about.
So it sounds like sort of the conversation, a trigger for the bringing up of these negative emotions and stuff is, like you said, the conversations about you guys' past.
That's my biggest concern, because now I kind of see Sherry is going the direction where, her mother went, and I'm scared.
And knowing that you're experiencing this fear because of your concern for your daughter and your granddaughter, but it's also a trigger for whenever you bring up the past and your fear, it's perpetuating this sort of stagnation in your family, not being able to move forward.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if there's ever a time where you felt confident in your family and where you didn't have that sort of concern and you trusted Sherry.
I have something to say. My mom mentioned the word respect. I had to respect the prison guards. And so talking about that, makes me sad. Because, again, if we work on that relationship, then you're my prison guard again, because I have to respect you. And that I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that should be our goal.
You're uncomfortable
I
with.
think we should work, our goal should be equality. If we should respect each other, not just respect our mom or our grandma.
That's not what I meant. I said a mutual respect.
And we definitely had that. Grandma and I, before this whole thing and before me ODing at the hospital and mom coming back, Grandma and I for years got along great. When grandpa was still alive, really from the time the last 10 years, just about. We had a really good relationship going, the three of us. And then when he died, obviously that was hard, but grandma and I still leaned on each other and had a lot of mutual respect and a lot of trust. I think maybe now, I'm not a little kid, I'm 14 and I'm starting to hang out with my friends and do things outside the house, and I can see why there's tension, and of course I screwed up with that when we went to the festival, and I get, why my grandma is worried that I'm going down the same road, but at the same time I want to be viewed as my own person. I am not a drug addict, and I'm not planning on being in jail just because I made one mistake. I want to be viewed, the whole picture of all those good times too, and not just, the last couple weeks when things have gone wrong.
Yeah, whenever I thought about raising him, it's not her. It's not easy, but it was very beautiful. She was the best thing I could ever had. We had a lot of great times together. Talking about the triggers earlier, we were talking about the triggers. Her mother was very rebellious when she was a teenager. So right now, it's like, I don't know how to handle that. And she was in front of me. And then, now on the side, and here it goes again. So it's like, yeah. So bring up memories back to me. It's not, I don't want to dwell on it either.
You're carrying a lot of that past with you.
Yeah.
And
Now I have to see it because it's right in front of me.
so I think becoming aware that you're carrying some of that past with you presently and it's sort of transferring onto Sherry, that maybe that'll help you in your interactions with her, that opening up to allowing it to trust her and that she recognizing that she is her own person.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted sort of you to weigh in because you sort of going through your own transformation right now too. With being out of jail and sobriety.
Well, my role as a daughter and a mother, I've not been there. So I'm really grasping for my where I fit.
Geraldine, do you think you might be looking for some trust too from your family members that you're going to follow through this time?
Acceptance and confidence in me. And when I said last week that I'm determined not to go back to prison, and I want to be part of the family again. But I know it's going to be difficult for my mom to give up her maternal instincts now, and I know Sherry isn't real happy with me, but I want to be here and I want us to be a family again. So.
Talking about acceptance, I just have this mixed feelings. She's not my little girl anymore, and she's not a teenager anymore, and she has her own, like she said, as a daughter and a mother. And for me, she has been away so much, and suddenly she's here. I don't know how to handle it. It's new to me too.
Mm-hmm.
And before, we shared intimacy, and with Sherry, and then all of a sudden there's another person who had to divide the attention. It's not like I don't want to. I do have concerns. It's not like I don't want to trust her. It's like I don't know how. I think it takes time for all of us.
Well, bringing up the confidence and trust and time and all this stuff, I think one thing we often forget to do to help each other is give each other compliments. We focus a lot on the negative aspects of what people do, but we don't really think about what the other person does great and what they add to our lives. I was wondering if you guys might want to engage in an exercise with me where we might say something that we appreciate about each of our family members.
Well, I appreciate the great care she gave to my daughter for all these years. At least I knew with all the stuff that was going on in my life that my daughter was well cared for. So I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
How does that feel to hear that?
I thought she never cared. It's good to know she does.
And how is that for you to give that compliment?
It's pretty different from the bitterness and all the negative stuff that I've been feeling for so many years. It was nice.
Mm-hmm. And Sherry, hearing that sort of exchange, how is that for you?
Well, I mean, I think it's a good idea. I mean, I guess I keep saying that I want everybody to drop the past and treat me as my own person, but sometimes I forget that, especially with you, Mom, that, for the last 10 years and you've been in and out of jail, you haven't ever done what you're doing now. And I guess I'm just not giving you credit for that. You're here and you're clean and you're doing something that you haven't done all this time. You're taking a step that's completely different. And for me to sort of keep reminding you of all the mistakes that you've made in the past is really me being, hypocritical. So I do really appreciate that, you came to therapy with us and that you're, it seems like you're committed to getting on the straight path. And of course I want to, have a good relationship with you. I've always wanted that, but I guess it's been hard for me to forgive you for, the last 10 years, but to focus on just right now, I really do appreciate that you want to be a part of the family and that, you want to get to know me and that you're clean and putting your life together again. It does mean a lot to me.
Thank you.
So Sherry, it sort of sounds like you were delivering your mom a compliment, but in that you were also recognizing your role and how, not giving your mom credit and encouragement, might kind of be hindering some of you guys moving forward in your relationship.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's why things kind of dipped down to a 4 for me and where it felt so good at the beginning of the week because this is what we were doing when we were having dinner together. It was kind of like, I'm so happy, that you're back and that we're going to do this, and everybody was so enthusiastic. And then it was really only after we started poking at each other, Grandma and me poking at Mom for things that she's done in the past, and Grandma, not being happy with me for the whole hospital thing, which was in the past. And then once we started poking at each other like that, we went downhill. So
it sort of seems like the general consensus here from everyone is that you realize the more you dig into your past and you keep, drudging up the old problems, it causes tension in the family. People aren't feeling well about yourselves and less connected. But when we're offering each other praise and recognizing when we do things well for each other, it elevates us as a family and brings us closer together.
Yeah, I agree. Look, going into the past for me is a very negative exercise. I think I did my time and I'm ready to be clean and move on into the future. And that's kind of what I expect all of us to try to do. So that's my take.
I would like to extend an opportunity to either one of you if you would like to try delivering or sharing something that you really appreciate about the other person.
I really appreciate my daughter's, trying so hard. I haven't seen that for a while, and it's good. It's good. It's reminding me when she was very little and she tried really hard at sports team. So I do have faith in her. I guess at the same time, I'm feared. I'm scared. I need to learn how to deal with my fear. But it's really good to see her trying so hard. And for Sherry, I appreciate you letting me know you're your own person. Because for the whole time I feel like, I'm harboring him and hovering. Just feel like I want to protect you so bad. But I think it's a time for, for you to grow up, and it's for me maybe step back. So thank you for teaching me that lesson.
all right. I appreciate that, Grandma. And of course, I'm so grateful for everything you've done for me all these years, because I would have just been in a foster home or on the street. And I know that I worried you when I stayed out that night and got into trouble. And
You do?
I do. And I know that I'm not always honest, and I know that that's a big thing with you is the trust. So I know for me, if I just make sure that even if it's little stuff like skipping school, that I just tell you the truth, because whenever I do that, you seem not to hover as much, and you always know when I'm lying. So I'll try harder to just tell you the truth, even when I mess up.
I'll try harder too.
So, time just flies with you guys, but, I just want to sort of remind you of just, the power of how you guys communicated with each other today. And that, it seemed like as you guys were complimenting each other, you were also evaluating yourselves and sort of like how, we can contribute to the dynamic that is occurring in the family, and just being more mindful of how maybe your fears might be holding back the growth of the family, or your desire to, or your maybe not acknowledging your mom's efforts at this time, how that might be contributing to the growth, and so on, and how together when we work and we give each other that positive feedback and those things we need to hear, how it can help us grow as a family. So, thank you guys for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Good job. That was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good. You took it in the original direction there.
I'll turn that off.
Yeah, I don't know. I just was making stuff up on the cup.
No, that was good, because
Those are-
like when I did it, I was very rigid. I'm like, okay, bring up the exceptions, miracle question, just going right through the techniques. But you kind of went with the
Flow.
giving each other compliments and stuff. That was